Ma'am, excuse me, what are your thoughts for your American friends today?
I don't have enough words. Very grateful.
Imagine being one of the most famous women in the world, only to wake up and realize you no longer have a front door key. The royal lodge is locked, the bank accounts are frozen, and the Duchess title? It's been wiped from the records like it never existed. After 30 years of surviving scandals, Sarah is now effectively homeless, drifting through the high-rises of New York City and relying on the mercy of friends just to find a spare bed. She was once the heart of the monarchy, but after the 2026 files leaked, she became something much darker. In the elite circles of Manhattan, they've given her a new name: radioactive. But as the world turns its back, a single question remains. Where does a woman go when even her own daughters are forbidden from taking her in? The gold-plated lifestyle didn't just vanish, it was systematically dismantled in less than 72 hours. For decades, Sarah lived in the sprawling shadow of the Royal Lodge, a 30-room sanctuary that felt like an untouchable fortress. But by the spring of 2026, the locks were changed, the security detail was dismissed, and the woman who once dined with kings found herself staring at a suitcase in a borrowed New York apartment. She isn't just moving, she's being erased. Reports from Manhattan's elite circles describe her as effectively homeless, a term usually reserved for the desperate, not the former inner circle of the British monarchy. But here's the part that keeps the tabloids buzzing. She isn't staying in hotels. She can't. With her credit lines reportedly frozen and her once lucrative book deals dissolving into legal ash, she's become a high-end nomad. One night she's at a luxury spa in Ireland, the next she's relying on the mercy of Priscilla Presley for a spare bedroom. It's a desperate game of musical chairs, and the music is about to stop. In the world of the ultra-wealthy, couchsurfing isn't a lifestyle choice, it's a neon sign that you've been blacklisted. The inner circle calls her radioactive, a label that sticks like a physical brand. Long-standing allies are reportedly screen-calling her, terrified that a single recorded conversation could link them to the fallout of the 2026 Epstein files. Even her own daughters, Beatrice and Eugenie, have been forced into a chilling public distance to save their own standing. They've reportedly agreed that any public display of closeness is now inadvisable. But as she drifts from one temporary roof to another, a darker reality is setting in. Being homeless is one thing, being hunted by the truth is another. And what the newly unsealed documents reveal about her service to the late financier is about to turn this social exile into something much more dangerous.
Well, it's not just Andrew that has had some very serious allegations made against him. Fergie's relationship with Epstein is certainly being scrutinised. What's the latest on the allegations around Fergie?
Well, all the time, and we used to feel a bit sorry for Fergie because we thought she was embroiled and brought under the sort of shadow, if you like, of her husband or former husband. What's now emerged is that she's not only borrowed lots of money that she needs to do, but she also at one stage tried to retract from criticising Epstein in public. She said that she received a threatening phone call, which is why she sort of turned around and was deeply apologetic to Jeffrey Epstein because she was worried that she might be sued for defamation. She also sort of turned around and apparently asked him to marry her.
The 2026 unsealing of 3 million Epstein documents didn't just hint at Sarah's involvement, it provided a digital paper trail that her PR team simply couldn't spin. The woman who once reinvented herself as a global brand suddenly found that brand to be completely toxic. Even more chilling is the suggestion in the files that there were plans for the financier to own a majority stake in her women's empowerment projects. The irony hasn't been lost on the public, and it's likely why her bank accounts are currently under a microscope. However, the emails didn't just expose her finances, they exposed her family. One specific message mentioned the girls joining her for a flight to Miami on his private dime, a trip that occurred just days after he left prison. This single revelation has ignited a silent war within the palace, and it's the reason her daughters are now facing a choice they never expected to make.
But let's move on to some other issues. And there are reports that Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie have been banned from attending Royal Ascot in June, and they won't be allowed to join their family in the royal procession either. This is all due to the Epstein revelations surrounding their parents.
In the high-stakes world of the 2026 British monarchy, there is no room for collateral damage, even if that damage shares your own blood. The most heartbreaking aspect of Sarah's exile isn't the loss of the 30-room royal lodge, it's the cold, clinical distance now being maintained by her own daughters. Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie, once inseparable from their mother in a group they famously called the Tripod, have been forced to dismantle that bond in real time. According to recent reports, the sisters have been blindsided by a series of royal bans, starting with their removal from the royal carriage procession at Ascot. It's a move that many believe was spearheaded by Prince William, who has reportedly drawn a hard line in the sand. His message to the family is chillingly clear. Anyone photographed with the Yorks is effectively choosing to sink with them. But the distance isn't just coming from the palace, it's coming from within. The 2026 Epstein files contained more than just Sarah's emails. They revealed how the girls were allegedly used as social pawns as far back as 2009. One newly unsealed exchange describes Sarah asking the financier to foot the bill for first-class flights for her daughters just 5 days after his initial prison release. For Beatrice and Eugenie, who are now mothers themselves, the realization that they were being offered up for lunches with a convicted offender has been a devastating blow. They aren't just protecting the crown, they are reportedly aghast at the memories of a childhood they now see through a much darker lens. Behind closed doors, the tripod has buckled. While Eugenie has been spotted visiting Sarah at a wellness retreat in the United Arab Emirates, those meetings are now strictly off the record and kept far away from UK soil. The sisters are currently fighting for their own survival within the firm, knowing that one wrong move could see their own patronages and titles stripped away just like their parents'. They are living in a state of royal limbo, barred from garden parties and state events, essentially paying the price for a loyalty that Sarah never should have asked of them. The pressure is mounting, and the cracks are showing. With Prince William reportedly viewing Sarah as persona non grata and refusing to even say her name, the sisters are being squeezed between a desperate mother and a future king who has zero tolerance for scandal. And as the legal walls close in following the recent arrest in Norfolk, the question is no longer about social status, it's about who will be left standing when the final gavel falls.
Sarah's story isn't just about a lost title or a change of address. It's about the total evaporation of a life built on the edge of a cliff. By the spring of 2026, the Duchess persona has been officially retired, replaced by a woman who is essentially a ghost in the city that never sleeps. The reports of her homelessness aren't just sensational headlines, they are the final symptoms of a systemic rejection. When your own children have to treat your presence like a PR disaster, and your ex-husband is facing a potential life sentence for his actions in Norfolk, the fairy tale doesn't just end, it burns down. Sarah is currently caught in the ultimate curse of loyalty. She stayed when she should have left, and she spoke when she should have remained silent. Now, as she moves from a Swiss recovery clinic to the spare rooms of aging socialites, she is a living reminder that in the world of the elite, the only thing more dangerous than a scandal is the truth that eventually follows it. Whether she can ever find a permanent home again is one thing, but whether she can ever outrun the shadow of the 2026 files is another entirely. The locks have been changed, the names have been scrubbed, and the York era is officially over. But as the investigation into those Norfolk files widens, we have to wonder, is Sarah's exile a punishment from the palace, or is it a desperate attempt to keep her from saying too much? What do you think? Is Sarah a victim of her own loyalty, or did she know exactly what she was doing all those years ago? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one.